Welcome to episode 5 of Space Engineers, and I built a little landing pad for my lifter. I'm about to explain something regarding that. I made a bit of a mistake. Oh dear. Bit of a derp. But, you know, we can recover from it. I don't have to destroy those batteries, I don't think. On reflection, I probably didn't want that cargo can in the centre, but everything's connected to it. I probably want the batteries in the centre, since this thing probably is not going to have any kind of connector system to pull stuff into that cargo can. However, I could use that for hydrogen fuel if I decided to replace these with hydrogen thrusters, which is a decent way of getting into space, although, yeah, a seat on top of it into space? Anyway, the derp I actually made wasn't the cargo can, it was actually the connector at the bottom. I connected it to my base, set the thing to recharge, and wandered off to do other stuff, which I'm going to head over to now, what I was doing. And came back and the base was dead, and it was night time, and I couldn't recharge things, and yeah, so I sucked all of the power out of the base with the lifter. So you should be a bit careful with that. I replaced the connector with a merge block. By the way, that's a much better option for that kind of thing. So here you'll see a rock, and these boulders are new in this patch. In the inside you'll find ore, which is kind of cool. So, you know, you can just head your way into them. They're not very big, so you're not going to get a huge amount of ore. But this will give us nickel, and nickel is very important for building motors. Now, I've got quite a lot of motors because I've taken off most of the ones on this one. But just bear that in mind. Have a look for those rocks around. I found quite a few of them with magnesium, with silicon. This is in another world. This isn't in this one. It's my test world. None of the higher tier ore I've seen them yet. Maybe that's very rare. Just mainly the base ones, so iron, nickel, cobalt, you know, that kind of stuff. So, what I was going to get started with is, first of all, let me just dump this stuff in the refinery. In here. Nickel. And I don't think I need the nickel at the moment, but let me just drag it in. Where's my refinery? Ah, there we go. I think I've turned the refinery off, so just to save power. And yeah, you'll hear it going. And when I was running out of power, it's just started choking and all kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to need too much to start with, but I do have to figure out now a way of getting power to this little ship. The problem with the merge block is I can merge block onto another merge block of another small ship, but I can't necessarily merge block onto the, if I just, here's the station, no, that's the connector. Here's the station size merge block, so let me just rotate that. See the size of that pad? Incompatible with the size of that pad, so I don't think there's a small to large, maybe there is. Merge, 1-to-1 size merge block, that's just for a small ship only. This one is for a station, so I'm going to use a very quick and dirty hack to get around that, just so that anything with a merge block you can charge, and the sun's coming up, thank God. I'm also going to actually use it to finish off this ship. There's only one engine left, but there are these batteries. So what I could do, what I intend to do, see there's nothing else left in here, is fall down, use my jetpack. Here's a connector I just built on the top, so what I'm probably going to do is just build a little shim in between the merge block and a connector, just so that I can connect to this, unload the batteries. There won't be any batteries on that connector, so hopefully I should be able to pull in the power. Let's just give this a go, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So just a new small ship, and just put you there, and I'm just going to put a few blocks on top of it, because I can't put the connector straight on top. So there we go, and let's just put a connector block like this. On top of that, to be honest, I could just put the merge block on top. I was going to think of putting in something else. There we go, and if I just fill that in. Computers, construction components short, so that's not too bad. Oh, I just run out of jet. Just run out of hydrogen again. One of the loads actually must have killed me because I came back and had to spawn in, When I had to spawn in, I didn't have my hydrogen bottles, which is fine, but they need stuff to build them, and I'm not sure if I actually have the stuff to build them. Let me quickly check that, because it would be handy to have some. You go to this tab, and you can see some new tools in here. These are ones that have been added in the vanilla. They're not actually modded, and they are much better versions of our initial tools, particularly the welders. Now, that needs silver and cobalt, which I don't have. That needs silver, which I don't have, so I need to find silver. That's my main problem with getting more of those bottles. Where was I? Computers, and what was the other thing? Is it just construction components? Probably was. It's usually the thing that goes wrong. So in the meantime, I am just going to have to make trips to the med bay and just hold NT. Make refills fairly quickly. There we go. So if I go over here, and I turn the batteries on, I've only got a few minutes left. I have been scouting around with this thing. 2 minutes fuel time. But yeah, we should be able to make that. So if I then drop this thing down, if I'm actually lined up, I should be able to drop this thing down. Nearly, come on. There we go, locked. So I can just leave this for a second and then cut off this section. There we go. And then we just need, still with the same amount of fuel, need to fly up over here and connect. And this will just let me drain the last of those batteries before I disassemble the things. Fuel time 2 minutes still. Hopefully this is going to be active. We'll see. There we go, and P to lock. Change the batteries. Let's turn them off for a second. Yes. And set them to recharge. Do I need to turn them on while they're recharging, maybe? No, that's not working. Is that because I turned the ship off?
Ship fuel.
Yeah, probably. Let's just turn that back on. Why aren't you working?
Ship fuel critical.
Maybe that's because I turned the other ship on, off, so let's just go to control panel. Dump you down, and you should do. Batteries off. They're going to set to discharge. That's fine. Connector block should be on. Let's see if that works. Required to fly. Yeah, that group doesn't exist anymore. And in fact, I'm just going to change one into being just regular mode, just so that I can connect up to this thing, hopefully. Let's see.
Ship fuel critical.
Yes, I know ship fuel is critical. There we go. P, lock. Let's try this again. My batteries set me to recharge, please. Okay, so they are now receiving power. Input is 4.32 megawatts, so that's going to be, and we can just change these ones around. That's the one that's I just changed on board the ship, and those two. In fact, I can just change that, not semi-auto, just discharge. Get rid of those two entirely, and then get most of the power off this thing. So that is this thing set up, and we can leave that running. In fact, I can probably turn the engines off. That's probably a good idea. It shouldn't have to actually do anything, so this probably shouldn't be, much of an issue. I do love the mod that lets those spin. It's amazing. Okay, so now I've built that shim, what else are we going to do? Well, I'm going to go and get the rest of that rock over there later. But in the meantime, I'm going to need to build the actual thing for that. So I can just disconnect the merge block from on top of that and come connect it to something else. And the something else is what we're going to have to get to now. Now, I've taken a look at a few videos between the episodes, and most people have gone for a really small rover. And that's a small ship, if you like, with a couple of drills on the front. They're okay. That's definitely a way to do it. And I may well end up switching to that anyway, particularly if I have to do any underground mining. So, you know, fly down through a hole, go underground and gather large amounts of resources. For now, though, I want something a lot like a pile driver. It's just going to make a big hole straight down. So let's just make something like that, shall we? And it is going to be a small ship. It's just going to connect to the bottom of that, if you like. So that's why those 4 thrusters are there. I need to be able to pull up once it's filled with ore. So do bear that in mind. And let me just build straight up here. Oops. There we go. And let's get rid of you. So all that we really want here, and we don't want anything, you know, terribly amazing. We just want drills. So let's just put those on our hotbar. I'm going to need conveyors. Small ones, so this is these. And that block. Not going to need solar panels. I'm probably going to need some independent batteries. Maybe. Although, actually being able to recharge, that's going to be it. Actually, no, the recharging will be fine. So, yeah, I'm probably going to need some batteries, but I'll put those on last. And I do need that merge block, but again, I'll put that on later. Let's start with the drills, shall we? Drills are a bit too unwieldy to actually do very easily. There we go. So we want something like this. And we're going to connect 3 of them together. If I can get them actually connected like this. That's a very, very small spot that you have to connect to them. Now the drills have, if I just weld one up, the drills have ports in the side there, so all 3 of these inventories will be shared, so we don't have to worry about piping between those, though I probably will just in case, because what tends to happen is I tend to knock something off, which is slightly annoying. So yeah, I don't want to do that. So let me just get a few bits of stuff. I'm not going to need bulletproof glass, though I am going to need a lot of most other stuff, so let me just put those down. And I've got 40 power cells left. For power cells, I'm going to need... Where's my power cells? Power cells, I need silicon. Iron and nickel is fine, and silicon is fairly common, so that shouldn't be too bad. And yeah, I tried to build hydrogen bottles. Not a chance. Unless I could disassemble something that has silver in it already, which I don't know if I had everything of. I'll come back to that. I don't need it. It's not essential. Let me just get a couple of other stuff. Yeah, just most of the general stuff. And let's see how this goes. I'm not going to weld it up on camera, but I'm going to build it on camera. So on the top of these then, you just want to put in the small conveyor, and you want to just put them on top of this central part, like this. If you don't fail at putting it in the right place. And then I'm going to put 3, I tried it with 2 and it was a bit too close, 3 conveyors between each one. Like this. I'm hoping that that is going to be fine with the drills, because one thing that can happen there is if the drills don't take away the material, then you've got a bit of an issue in that you're just going to end up with a material in between the drills. If you imagine there's going to be another drill set here, so you know I'm going to have to be a bit careful with this. like this. See those distances between the drills? Hopefully that's enough to make sure that this doesn't happen. I don't want, because if you let that happen, if there's some material left, you will end up with destroying parts of your ship. It'll just go between the drills, hit the next part of the ship, and then things will start going badly wrong, which we don't want. 2, 3, and so we're now going to have a grid of 9 drills, and let's just complete those with conveyors and the drills themselves, which back on my 5 key. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you wanted extra security just to make sure stuff could route its way around, you could also do this, and I will. You don't necessarily need this part 7, actually. You could put these in like this, and I could run them in the middle. And this is going to make a frame, basically a square frame. And I'm going to weld the middle 3 up because I'm not going to be able to get to it later, and I don't have any construction components. Great. Because we're going to put something on top of that. Construction components. You'll do. So yeah, I know I said I wasn't going to weld this up, but some bits I actually am going to have to. In fact, probably that should do it. So you'll notice this is wider than it is long. That's somewhat intentional since that thing up there is wider than it is long. Just that's why the cargo can shouldn't be in the middle really, because otherwise I could make it quite square, but it doesn't matter if it's slightly rectangular. I'm not going to go into the terminal. I'm going to go and grab a cargo can. Medium 1. And you'll see where that conveyor block is. I'm going to need to turn this so that the small bit is down like that. And then probably going to need to, I wonder, I could have it 2 ways round, and I'm going to leave it like this for now, and if I decide in testing that it's going to be terrible, then that's not too much of an issue, and I'm going to need to actually build this. Interior plates displays, okay. Mainly because onto that I'm going to put some connectors, and I don't want the drills getting in the way, so yeah, we'll see about that one. Interior plates displays, I'm going to get rid of some stuff. What else did it say? I forget. Doesn't matter. I just want to be able to see the outline of the cargo can for the next bit. There we go. So on the side of that, we're then going to put a connector to connect up probably to this refinery. And to do that, I'm going to need to put a different block onto the side of that refinery just to give it a kind of connector that we can use. So let's have a look. Will the connector alone be enough? Because if it is, if it's wide enough, I don't use the slim connectors I'm so fond of. Maybe. The drill's still out there a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have this doable. And then I could put batteries on this, but I'm going to leave that for now. So I'm going to put another one of these on the other side, just for convenience sake. And then we're going to see what we do with this. I'm going to weld this up and see what else it needs. Back in a minute. And now that's welded up, the final bit we want on the top is just a merge block. And I said off the bars, didn't I? So I want a regular merge block. And this is going to go right on top. Like that. There we go. So let's give this a go. How long have I got left? Probably a few minutes left till that's actually fully recharged. But let's have a look. Battery 2, fully recharged in 2 minutes. Battery 3, okay. So let's for a second just test out, see how much power I've got with this and how much it's going to take. So I'm going to switch these batteries onto... no, that selected them all. Because they both call the same group name, unfortunately. Take recharge off. Put discharge on. Not discharge on. Wait till I unlock this thing. Yeah, now on discharge on. And thrusters on. And there we go. So flight time is now... it says 34 minutes, but it tends to be somewhat variable. So let's just, for a moment, get down on top of our... this thing. Oh, we need to drop the merge block first. Let's just head down somewhere. In fact, I should have probably left it locked on top of that. On top of that old ship. But now, let's just turn off the merge block. Where is it? I can't tell which one it is. I really need to rename these. Okay, so let's turn the top one off. There we go. Let's just rename that before I join this. Merge block. Lifter. Because this is the one we actually want to turn off. Because I turned off the wrong one, so I'm going to have to go over to that one and put a control panel on it. But not till it needs recharging, so that's something I'll do off camera. Hover over this. And let's see if this thing works. Because if not, I'm going to need a lot of reconstruction. And we're locked in. Okay, so now the thrusters are on. I'm going to just recharge my hydrogen. Because everything is now connected. You'll see there's green next to the merge blocks. And I am going to just head here. I could put another connector on the side of that. I probably will to recharge this as well, just until all the power is used. There's an awful lot of power in there. So, yeah, but to unload the ore, I'm going to do something different. Conveyors again, but this time... here, so I want large, and the connector block, which I don't have my bars again. Connector. There we go. So I want to go up a little bit. Again, this is only temporary till I build some kind of permanent thing on the base, and I want to go that way. And then a connector. I know it looks ugly. I know. Believe me, it's bothering me just as much as it's bothering you. Construction components. That's all I'm going to need. Construction components and steel plates, and I should be able to get it. Oh no, I can't get in through there anymore. Construction components and steel plates. There we go. 2 and 3. And before you go mining, just empty your inventory just in case you need to carry stuff permanently. And the reason why you might need to do that is if this thing won't pull itself up once it's filled with ore. Now it should do, because it's only one medium cargo can, but we will see. Oh, I'm going to need to cut the I'm going to need to cut the stand off it. Now, normally I'll build some kind of maybe piston or something like that to extend landing gears, but because we've got 9 drills on this thing, it actually, and you'll see that you can hear the thrusters going already. Because we've got 9 drills on this thing, it will actually stand on its drills. So if I just, well, it already is lowered, so the thrusters have gone off, so it is actually stood by itself now. So I've turned the thrusters off, it's standing fine. Only problems you will get, however, is if the thing, oh no, have I connected this the wrong way? Okay, merge block, off, fly up a bit, turn 90 degrees, merge block on, and drop back down. There we go. Yeah, I was saying that it's still not too great that way. I may need to put an extension. Let's just see if these connectors actually work. So if I lift off and connect up here, it should let me empty stuff out of this if there's enough distance. Or oh no, that may have problems. Yeah, I'm probably going to need to put an extender on. Onto my ship, that is, just to move that connector out. It's no big deal, and I hope those atmospheric thrusters don't cause damage to things below, otherwise that's going to be a problem. But what we can do with this thing, until I actually may have to improve the design, and I'll do that between episodes, don't worry about that, is head out towards some kind of ore that you've found. And in this case we'll use this cobalt. I've got 16 minutes of fuel time, so just bear in mind you might want to put some extra batteries on this at some point. So let's get over the cobalt, which should be here. I've not put an ore detector on this thing, but if I were you, I would as well. I'll just add that later. Maybe the same thing with an antenna. So if we come down for a second and let's just put it down near the ice, or on the ice. Let's just set up the hotbar. So, we're going to need mainly the drills, batteries and thrusters, weapons and tools. Drag the drill across to the end one. I don't actually need anything there. And that's it for now. I've not put in the lights on this thing either, so that's something else I'm probably going to put on between the drills. You see those gaps in that square grid? I put, an ore detector in there and some lights. But in lieu of having those, just lift off, hold down right click, not left click, and we're going to destroy the ice layer. We don't need ice, plenty of that all around. And we just head down like this, and you'll see obviously how much area we're actually drilling out, which leaves enough room for our thrusters, which is the main issue here. So we've got 18 minutes or 16 minutes. The power estimation is notoriously bad, so don't worry about that. I just keep heading down. And yeah, I'm going to hit rocks fairly soon. This lake isn't terribly deep. There's the rock. And if we keep going, we should hit cobalt. Cobalt will look a little different. I think that is it there. So if I just left click and hold, and then go down a bit, and then stop, we should see our inventory. Cobalt, 5k of it, which means we're already at the cobalt layer, and yeah, so I can just harvest this. And I'll come back later, I've just proven the concept. It's a fairly big hole, so you're going to be able to get another ship down there, which is going to probably be important. If I just land this for a second. I don't have any hydrogen. I'm not going to land that and go down that hole. That would be death trap. And that's the other reason why I want bottles. Also make sure you fill your hydrogen before you leave the home base. So we're going to head back here, and then I'm going to need to modify that ship at the bottom. Let's see if we can get some way of connecting up to the home base. And I'm going a bit too fast. Lean up. Because of the hydrogen thrusters, the atmospheric thrusters, you will slow down very fast doing just pulling up a little bit. So that's just something to bear in mind. See, we've got plenty of fuel time, even though I said we didn't. And let's just head down and land. Let's move across a bit. See let's just off the thrusters, get out. It'll rock a little bit usually, but that's not much of a problem. I have lights on the top, and they may be okay to go between the drills actually, so we may not need those. Let me just put the hydrogen back. And let's see what we need to do about this connector. It's slightly annoying that won't fit because of these thrusters. I could, to be honest, cut those front and back thrusters off. It should be able to hold this thing, but I'm just not sure, so we will see. Yeah, I'm not sure. So instead, yeah, that is actually going to get in the way a lot. Let's just take this off for a second. And can we put a conveyor? This is going to stick out. The only problem I've got with it is it's going to stick out. And if that thruster causes damage, this whole thing's going to go up. So let me just take a save of the game. That should be interesting. Small steel tube and construction components. Okay, small steel tube, construction components. Fine. Let's weld this up. We're about to test the theory. 6. And rotate. Five motors. Should have plenty of those. Okay, and let's just set the refinery temporarily, well not temporarily, but set the refinery to on, because that should pull all this stuff into the refinery. Assuming I don't have to reload this save because rethink this design because of an issue with thrusters. Well, no damage so far, so that's good. And let's line up. There we go. Locked. And that should pull everything out of our local cargo can into the refinery. Medium cargo can. Inventory. I want the local inventory. Medium cargo can. Are you... No, it hasn't pulled in. Let's see where the refinery is. I can transfer it across, that's fine. What I may need to do is set the other connector to collect all. So let me just disengage from you a second, back away, bring us down onto the ground, and then go to here, and then probably control panel, connector, collect all. And that should pull then everything out of our ship and into this, which will then get pulled into the refinery because it's part of the same grid. So that is a pretty decent start. We've now got an ability to mass mine with this connector system underneath and with the drill section. If you have any ideas, if you have done this already yourself in a world and you have any better way of doing it, feel free to leave a comment below because, hey, my way is not the only way and there are ways to do this in a much smaller ship. For instance, I could just stick a couple of these drills alongside each other and then a remote control and, you know, a seat kind of wedged in behind them somehow and little bits and pieces of thrusters all over the place. This just means I got a pile driver to go straight down for ore through the actual ice layer and should all be pretty good. So I can do that, use that top section now to scout, use this to fit onto it when I'm not using the main drill section, just so I can easily charge it up from that ship. And we're happy, I think. So, if you like this episode, thumbs up, otherwise thumbs down. And of course, if you want to see more of these episodes, feel free to subscribe or, you know, mainly leave me a comment because that's what I enjoy the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with probably something to do with, oh, I don't know, probably more base building. I need to find uranium. That's one of the kind of shortages I've got at the moment. I have no way to actually add massive power. It's all based on solar energy, and that's not too great. I'm going to run out of it sooner or later because I need to use a lot of it to use ships like this. See you next time.